Stack. High yields on stable coins, yeah, that's where my bag at. All I really need is Wi-Fi, get money on DeFi, mega cash on MetaMask. You better run when the runners run, show you how to get your money up. Dollar inflated like bubble gum, markets are jumping like double dutch. Buying up gold till I get a ton, crypto, yeah, I got some. You better run when the runners run, you better run when the runners run.
Happy Wednesday to all the runners. It's November 29th, 2023. Today, we are going to talk about the foundation of real wealth, real money. There's nobody who loves talking about that more than my man, Ricardo Hamilton, a.k.a. Mims, making it make sense, brother. Give me some clank.
Man, they love that clank, man. Look, this is the foundation of wealth. You know what I'm saying? We get excited when we share this information because this information has literally put us in position to be free, build wealth, secure a legacy for our families, you know, be in position for the greatest wealth transfer in history away from paper money into hard money, gold and silver. You know, most people don't know, you know, what's going on. You know, they don't know the moves that are happening behind the scenes. They don't understand how important that it is that they're saving and holding these physical assets. And I'm excited for this show. So shout out to the runners. Happy Wealth Wednesday. Make sure you guys like this out, share this out. We're definitely going to make sure you guys understand the value of saving in silver and gold and why this is the right time for it, especially going into 2024. What's going on, brother? How are you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't care where you are at in your gold and silver journey, you don't have enough, right? I got one of these little beauties in the mail, and I rarely ever do anything with gold.
Okay.
But I got at least one more.
Nice.
So I wanted to diversify and make sure I'm covered. So, I mean, it's crazy, Ricardo, thinking this is, you know, you have a coin worth over $2,000 right in your hand.
$2,000 right there in his hand, just like that. And that gold coin. And I'm telling you, you know, right now we're in fiat currencies are collapsing. These are the assets you want to have. That's a beautiful gold coin you got there, Mike.
Yeah, it hurt me to not buy silver, but you know, I gotta diversify at some point. So guys, this is, you know, all the assets in the entire world. And as usual, the number one asset is gold. It's not even close. A market cap of $13 trillion. The price of gold right now, over $2,000, $2,062, up 3.5% in the week, which is a lot for gold. Okay, this isn't cryptocurrency we're talking about here. And then you have Apple, Microsoft, oil, Google, Amazon, silver, my baby, my girl at billion market cap, breaking the $25 barrier for spot price. Okay. So remember, this is the spot price you're seeing here, not the actual real silver that you can hold in your hand, which of course is all that you want.
Yeah.
And again,
this is
go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, like you talked about, when you see, you know, 3% or 7% gains in these markets, understand something. Gold right now at, you know, over $2,000 an ounce is a sign. You know, it's an indicator. You know, and I always said I'd rather be 1 year or even 2 years too early than 1 day too late to the largest wealth transfer in history. And you know, when you saw that gold was number one and silver at number 7, you know, this is what we talk about. We talk about do what the wealthy do. And obviously you can see that that's where a lot of the wealth is. It's in these assets. But understand this as well. Gold and silver have still been suppressed. Okay. The value of these assets are going to be much higher as this global monetary reset really starts to kick off. We're in it right now. It's accelerating. And you want to make sure that you have access to these assets and hold them sooner than later.
Do not worry about the dollar value. The dollar value is completely irrelevant. And I want to give you guys a good visual example as to why I believe that. So I have my 1 ounce gold coin here. Okay. The dollar value of this 1 ounce gold coin is equal to this is straight from the US Mint, one of these, two of these, three of these, and just so you can see what is in them, we have to add the fourth one. So that is 20 ounces of silver in each of those. So 80 of these silver American Eagle, 80 of them. 80. I have 20 in my hand here. So I'd have to have big enough hands to hold 80 of these silver coins.
Yeah.
The dollar amount just equals one gold coin.
Yeah. And understand something, folks.
I don't buy it, Ricardo. I don't buy it, Mims. Make it make sense because I don't buy it.
Yeah. Well, we're saving our money in gold and silver. You don't buy gold and silver. That's like saying, can I buy money from you? It don't make sense. We're just converting paper money that loses value into gold and silver, hard money that holds its value and appreciates. But this is the thing. We will see fair market, real market, price discovery for these assets soon. And so understand something, that I've seen a lot of indication and reports where we might see gold and silver on a parity 1-to-1 ratio. Historically, it's 15-1. Mike just told you it's 80-1, right? But yeah, 16-1 historically. But I'm telling you right now, the data that I've seen, we could very well see a 1-to-1 ratio with silver and gold. But I'll tell you one thing, silver is massively undervalued, the most undervalued asset on the planet. It's an industrial metal. It's used and abused and it's trash. We're going into a technological revolution, AI, robotics, automation, solar panels, everything else. I'm sure we're going to get into this stuff. And then there's also not that many silver mines. Silver is a byproduct of a gold mine. There aren't that many silver mines, and there isn't that much production. There's a greater demand for silver than there's supply. And so understand something, that this is a huge opportunity for those who are holding on to these assets, okay, and building and securing their wealth. You got to have physical.
And again, that's why I like showing this silver coin with the Bitcoin logo on it. You need both. Yesterday, we talked about Bitcoin. Today, real, physical, silver. There is the most undervalued asset on the planet. It's a gift from the bankers that are rigging the markets, that you are still able to buy silver under $100. So don't worry about that the price hasn't gone up. Be thankful the price hasn't gone up, that you can still buy it for these low prices.
Yep.
So let's get into it, Ricardo. What are the rich, wealthy, and elite doing? This is November 6, 2023. Record gold bullion buying by central banks through Q3 of 2023. Some of the highlights, and then we'll let Mims go off on it. Global central banks are on track to buy more gold bullion than ever before in 2023, with 800 metric tons purchased in the first 3 quarters. Last year saw the highest amount of gold bullion purchased by central banks in a single year since World War II, Ricardo.
Wow.
Make it make sense.
Wow. I mean, look, that says it right there. If that doesn't ring alarm bells off, or make your eyeballs pop out your head, or make you that light bulb go off, like, what's going on? Why is it that central banks around the world are buying more gold than they ever have since World War II? Could it be because we're in the same exact scenario? Okay. Can you see what's going on around the world? So this is why we get excited when we know what we're talking about, and we doing what we talk about, and we helping people get access and accumulate these assets that the central banks around the world are accumulating. Is so important. But yeah, since World War II, I mean, think about that. Since World War II, they haven't accumulated this amount of gold that they've ever accumulated. This is the time, folks. You need to be doing what they do and not doing what they say.
100%, guys. And as said, that's called a clue when you see banks buying more gold than World War II.
Yeah, and history.
Banks in history, yeah. Central banks have been selling U.S. bonds and increasing their gold reserves, even as U.S. interest rates rise. The Central Bank of Poland is actively increasing its allocation to gold bullion. aiming for 20% of its sovereign wealth. Not 5%, not 10%. They want 20.
Yeah,
Smaller economies make it make sense, baby.
No, I was just gonna say this is the underpinning. This is the foundation. This is the glue to global economies for them to be able to maintain and continue to support their country and their people and to grow. They're dumping bonds, and we know this. We talk about BRICS, we talk about central banks, they're dumping treasuries. They know what's coming. This is the greatest reset, the greatest wealth transfer in history. You cannot hold on to dollars, fiat currency, government, paper currency, value by decree. It's over with. We are living in the most significant time period in history. There will never be another chance, an opportunity in history to get as wealthy as you can than this time period right now. And those who are not accumulating precious metals, you are going to miss out. Okay. I mean, of course, you got to have some crypto too, but we're going to talk about precious metals right now. You got to have physical silver and gold, especially in these times right now. Go ahead, Mike.
Just more highlights, guys. Russian Federation continues to be a significant buyer of gold bullion with a promising outlook for further purchases. This is great to see. Younger generations, especially Gen Z, are increasingly buying gold, particularly in China. India and China with shout out Gen Z. They're finally doing something right.
Yeah.
India and China with growing populations and wealth are expected to continue robustly bidding on gold. Precious metals like gold, silver, and platinum are likely to outperform in the current financial climate. Switzerland is bracing for possible bank runs, and UBS is already taking measures to control client withdrawals. That means locking up your money, kids.
Yep. And you're going to see that. They want to stop capital. They want to implement capital controls. They want to stop the outflows of the currency. They want it to be centralized. And you're saying, no, I want to decentralize my money. I want to take ownership of my money. I want to hedge and make sure that I have something of value. This is why we get excited, because gold and silver is money all around the world. Africa, Asia, Europe, the Americas, gold and silver has had value since the times of Egypt. Gold and silver is here in the U.S. constitutional money. Article 1, Section 10 of the U.S. Constitution. There's about 12 states in the United States where gold and silver is legal tender. Obviously, we see central banks and governments buying and holding more gold and silver than ever. This is a sign that the global reset is taking full steam ahead, and paper currency is a liability to you. You see, we talk about eliminating liabilities and accumulating assets. We're not buying gold and silver. We are converting fiat paper money, declining pieces of paper, into hard money, real money, physical silver and gold. We are saving ourselves to wealth. Okay. And this is what you need to be doing.
No, 100%. Shout out to Kingdom Wealth Coach. Please listen, folks. This is so important. So we're just going to watch a short, 5-minute video. This kind of covers in more detail the data that's coming out and why you need to be paying attention, why banks are buying more gold since World War II.
Mainstream financial media this week.
Is that your basement, Ricardo?
And I'm telling you, that's just pretty. I get excited looking at that. I'm telling you, my blood get flowing. Let's go, brother.
Citing the World Gold Council with semi-transparent and some still private information provided by Metals Focus, stated that through the first 3 quarters of this year, 2023, global central banks are collectively again on trend to buy more gold bullion by tonnage than ever before.
Look at that, man. 800 tons already this year, outpacing last year, which was a record-breaking year. So that's 2 years in a row we're going to have a record-breaking central banks buying gold.
And I'm telling you, 2024 is probably going to be even higher.
Yep.
Yeah. This is a trend. What you're looking at is a trend.
Through the first 3 quarters into the year, central banks have bought 800 metric tons, or just over 25.7 million ounces collectively. That's more gold bullion than they bought through quarter 3 in last year's record-breaking year, 2022. Last year, 2022, was by far the most gold bullion central banks have bought on record since record-keeping began around World War II. Central banks have been net sellers of U.S. bonds over the last few years and have been aggressively diversifying on net into more official gold bullion reserves. Even with the fastest rise in U.S. rates in recent decades, gold has consistently outperformed bonds over the last 3 years, and this chart suggests that this central bank gold bullion buying spree will continue, with later on institutional investors following after rising spot prices forces them to do so.
Now, you don't want to be those people. Did you all catch that? Ems, do you want to make that make sense for the people out there?
Yeah, break it down for Mike.
Yeah, break it down. All right. So he's saying right now, regular investors are not buying. Regular people like you and I, most of the people are not buying. It's institutions, it's governments, it's big central banks. Right now, the normal people are not buying gold and silver at, any level that makes a difference. Once the price goes up, though, those people will be forced to buy it, because that's when all the hype's going to be around. That's when you're going to be running around trying to say, where can I find some silver and gold? Where can I buy some? And everyone's going to be like, sorry, we're sold out. We can't get any. Yeah. It's called unobtainium. Yeah. So you don't want to be those people. Exactly why Ricardo always says he'd rather be 2 years early than 1 day too late.
Yeah. And another thing to add to that really quickly is that when the price goes up, you see, I'm sitting here with 100-ounce bars, 10-ounce bars, 5-ounce bars, 1-ounce bars. It's going to get to a point where people are not going to be able to afford it. You're not going to be able to afford. You're going to be getting fractions. You're going to need a tenth of an ounce, 1/100th of an ounce, 1,000th of an ounce, because the price is so high. So you're going to get fractionalized silver. I mean, back in the Roman times, a full Roman soldier's day of work, he would only get a denarius. That was a tenth of an ounce of silver. People were living out, getting paid for a day's worth of work, a tenth of an ounce. That was what people were getting, right? So, I mean, understand something, that we're going back to these times where you're going to want to have, a whole lot of silver so you can make sure that you're wealthy, versus waiting too late and not getting a lot because the dollar value has went up and the dollar doesn't buy you what it used to.
I mean, these countries and central banks have more gold and silver than we can even imagine, and they're still buying at record-setting paces. Please, please, please wake up.
Yeah. One of the largest recent buyers of gold bullion has been the Central Bank of Poland, whose president recently was quoted stating some of the following rationales for why they are aiming to have 20% of their sovereign wealth allocated to gold bullion to come. Poland currently holds about 11% of its reserves in gold, but the Bank of Poland's president has recently indicated the buying will likely continue. Quote, "This makes Poland a more credible country. We have a better standing in all ratings. We are a very serious partner, and we will continue to buy gold. The dream is to reach 20%. He went on to further state, gold will retain its value even when someone cuts off the power to the global financial system, destroying traditional assets based on electronic accounting records. Of course, we did not assume that this will happen, but as the saying goes, forewarned is always insured. And the central bank is required to be prepared for even the most unfavorable circumstances. That is why we see a special place for gold in our foreign exchange management process."
All right, you got to break down. We haven't looked at Exeter's pyramid in a while, bro.
Yeah. So people look at this, right? So people try to understand, well, they'll say, well, where's gold and silver going? What does this reset look like? What could we really be seeing? And when you're looking at, they talk about lights out scenario, collapse of the financial system. What you're seeing in this pyramid is all these dollar denominated financial instruments, Fugazi type of stuff that they've created in the system, derivatives. You're seeing this big market, 598, that's probably trillion. Okay. Real estate market, and then you're seeing the debt market, then you see stock market. And what happens is, as it collapses, all that money is going to go out of those riskier assets, those riskier financial instruments, derivatives and things of that nature, and the overvalued as well, like we're talking about real estate and things of that nature. And it's going to go into safer assets, store value assets, hedged assets against financial crisis and inflation. And that's gold and silver. And so you can imagine all this wealth, all this paper money, when paper's no good, and now gold and silver are back to the role that they have had historically and traditionally, you're going to see the value of these assets explode and take off. And at the pinnacle, at the top of it is silver. So you see that little pyramid right there is gold, but the market for silver is even smaller. This is why we say that this is the most undervalued asset on the planet. Yeah, you want to have way more silver than you have gold, because the gains and the price appreciations we're going to see in silver are going to be astronomical in regards to, in compared to gold, because this is an industrial metal. Gold is generally stored and used in jewelry, but silver, it's in healthcare, it's in clothing, it's in medical equipment, it's antimicrobial, it's antibacterial, antifungal. It's, going to be used in solar panels. I mean, everything else going into space. I mean, silver's needed. Okay. And so not only does it have that industrial demand, but it's having that role as money again. It has such great demand for it and such little supply. It's going to be phenomenal. This is why you want to have real money, God's money, gold and silver.
That's why they call them MIMS, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, guys, that silver is a little speck. It's like a little dot you can't even see on this Exeter's pyramid. So this is why we have way more silver than gold.
Yeah.
Smaller Eastern economies like Malaysia have been aggressively reallocating long-term sovereign wealth savings into gold bullion, likely over bonds and other underperforming asset classes of late. The Thai Central Bank has increased its gold holdings over the last 3 years as it's diversified its investments. The head of Malaysia's reserve management stated a few of the following reasons why they've been increasing their stack of official gold bullion of late. Quote, asset allocation has become more challenging. We need to create a resilient portfolio against all shocks and changes around us. So diversification is the key issue. Gold prices move in different direction to bond prices and prices of other assets that we can invest. It's a hedging tool during high inflation and political uncertainty, as well as geopolitical events. It's good for risk diversification.
And that Malaysia dude sounds like you, Ricardo. Are you advising him at all?
Man, you never know who's watching, Mike. Our streams go out all around the world, man.
The Malaysians are running with the runners. Let's go, Malaysia.
Yeah.
One of the biggest buyers of gold bullion this 21st century is the Russian Federation, and judging by proven gold ore in her ground, one should expect that they'll continue stacking more official gold bullion this decade and perhaps onwards. While China's central bank has been the #1 central bank official gold bullion buyer over the last near full year now, it's the younger, increasingly wealthy Generation Z in China that's surprisingly buying gold at a massive clip. Most of China's consumer gold at the moment in private gold bullion sales and high-grade gold jewelry sales is reportedly being bought by their young Gen Z generation. Chinese citizens aged 18 to 34 years old also collectively possess the most buying power amongst all other Chinese age groups. Given that through the remainder of this decade, the largest sectors in population increases of wealthy people and consumers, it's going to be split amongst massive gold buying citizenries of India and China, respectively. So, split.
I want to comment on that. That blows my mind. Shout out to those young Chinese kids, 18 to 24.
Yeah.
Massive amounts of gold. They get it. And I bet it's because, you know how China had that real estate boom and they have all these empty cities. That's what they used to throw all their money into, was just real estate. Nobody would live in it, but they're like, what else are we going to do? Now they've smartened up and they say, give me the gold.
Yeah. And we need to bring that kind of mindset and revolution to Gen Z over here. You know what I'm saying? Bring it to the hood near you. I mean, people, the young folks, man, we need to help them get this silver. We need to help them get this gold. We need to help them put themselves in position to build wealth. You know what I mean? And over the long term, because especially in those early ages, I mean, you saving, you 18, 19, 20, you know what I'm saying? And you, by the time you 30, 40, I mean, you set, because you've been saving silver and gold the whole time, not trying to save cash. You know what I'm saying? Not sitting there at the bank, getting nothing on your savings account and, speculating and losing money. So it's that mindset. And so they're doing the right things. And, this is something that all the youth should be doing, saving in silver and gold, especially early on, even if it's just 1 ounce a month, it's going to be revolutionary. But yeah, Chinese and they're over there in the Gen Z, they doing it right.
And it's great for discipline, right? Because typically the younger you are, the more likely you are to go and spend money when you have it. So if you just have dollars in the bank, you're going to go out on the weekend, you're going to see some new shoes, you're going to want a new video game or computer, because it's so easy to use that cash, which is what they want. Now, you can still sell gold and silver. I know where to go to sell this. We got the best places to sell gold and silver, but it makes it a little more difficult to liquidate. It really puts that pain on you of, are you going to take that real money that you've stored, that you've bought, disciplined for years, and use it on this thing, whatever it is. So it's there for an emergency, but it makes you really stop and think, should I be doing this?
Yeah. I mean, this is like 6 bands right here. You know what I mean? Close to 6 bands. If I had this in cash, I would have been spent this a long time ago.
Gone.
I would have been spent this 6 band. I would have found a reason. I would have bought me some more 556, you know what I'm saying, or something. I mean, but when you have it in hard metal like this, you know, this is the best way to save. But when it's in cash, for some reason, cash is meant to be spent. Okay,
Yep,
it's not meant to be saved. You don't save cash. You save gold and silver.
Boom. Write that down, kids.
Amongst massive gold buying citizenries of India and China, respectively. So one should expect their collective bid on gold price climbing in the future will remain robust and ongoing. All while this week leveraged electronic derivatives gold futures trading hours during New York had kept the current spot prices in polite check as we consolidate near the eventual support line of $2,000 an ounce. We witnessed this week the world's largest debt to GDP nation of Japan announced their.
So basically he's trying to be funny here and sly and basically saying the banks are rigging the market. So people are buying more physical in Asia and London, and then the banks dump the paper because they can control the price. So again, the spot price doesn't matter. The dollar amount doesn't matter. That's what he's trying to say there, but not be, too direct.
Yeah, get physical.
We witnessed this week the world's largest debt to GDP nation of Japan announced they're launching $110 billion stimulus and claim it will help fight ongoing fiat Japanese yen inflation and currency debasement to come. We are apparently now at the point where politicians say virtually anything as they bribe their constituents with stimulus payoffs to try and keep their approval ratings from tanking. One look at the ongoing runaway price of gold and Japanese yen should remind silver bulls out there about how it will likely look once silver eventually begins its manic outperformance of gold later this bullion bull cycle.
So this guy must listen to us too, Ricardo. He's saying, you can see here on the left, the yen versus gold has spiked up to 300,000, and silver's lagging behind, as silver often does. Gold leads the bull or exploding upward market, and then silver rips behind it.
Yep. So, folks, the opportunity is silver hasn't even had its run up yet. Silver has not even ran up yet, folks. You have no idea what silver's getting ready to do. Go ahead.
Similar can be suggested for platinum, of which Japan is a respectively large buyer of in both bullion and jewelry formats. Turning now to a supposed safe haven nation located in the European continent, the nation of Switzerland announced that their regulators are bracing for further upcoming bank runs to come. Of course, since Credit Suisse failed and was taken over by UBS just a little while ago, it's likely that UBS is bound to have trouble of its own soon enough. Surely there will be another.
Did we miss that? Did you cover that on your TikToks that Credit Suisse failed?
No, I don't know if I covered it. Credit Suisse failed.
I think we missed that. Wow,
yeah, we might have missed that. That's huge.
Was Credit Suisse?
I mean, I'm not surprised. We knew that these banks, Deutsche Bank and Credit Suisse, we know they're all in trouble. We know that it's a consolidation of banking. It's been happening all the time. And, this is how we hedge, because we know what's happening. That's why JP Morgan is sitting on the largest reserves of silver in history. They know what's going on. They're going to survive. But if other banks that are not collateralized, and people understand that Basel III The Bank of International Settlements set it up. I mean, gold and silver are tier 1 assets, accepted 100% for value, zero risk associated to them. You know, these shorts and naked shorts and rigging of the market, paper short selling and all that stuff's coming to an end too. They got to have these assets. They got to have the value behind it. And that's in their holdings in physical silver and gold.
Yeah, well done, said. I'm going to pull up something about JP Morgan here a little bit too.
Yeah.
Their Swiss bank failure to come. Pick your list. I'm not really sure which, but UBS at the moment has already been staggering their client withdrawals with time delays, exit fees, all to likely slow down the current quiet bank runs that are probably happening there. UBS savings account terms reportedly only allow withdrawals of 50,000 Swiss fiat francs per year. Larger amounts require 3 months of notice, with a 0.5% fee for any withdrawals beyond the stated 50K limit, all while offering the running for their life UBS clients a paltry 75 basis points on saving accounts under 50,000 and a pathetic 30 basis points on Swiss savings account holdings beyond 50,000. Sounds like a good zombie bank to be with, huh? One look at how the current yearly gold price chart in Switzerland is now poised to break out and begin running to new price highs year after year. And we can just imagine how much room eventually outperforming silver will have to move to keep and eventually outpace gold's performance. Stick around after this brief message. We're going to look at more United States specific charts, data, and facts of this building global bullion bull market unfolding. Continued to pause its strength over gold in trading this week. This week, the Fiat Federal Reserve continued to pause its last few year record pace rate hike cycle.
Today, we decided to leave our policy interest rate unchanged and to continue to reduce our securities holdings. Given how far we have come, along with the uncertainties and risks we face, the committee is proceeding carefully. We will make decisions about the extent of additional policy firming and how long policy will remain restrictive based on the totality of the incoming data, the evolving outlook, and the balance of risks.
In this 21st century gold bullion bull market, there have already been 3 prior rate hike pause to cutting cycles. All have led to varying degrees of gold spot price climbs and relative outperformance of gold versus other asset classes. It remains to be seen how this next pause to eventual cutting cycle might play out. But we can also examine how rate cutting cycles have not typically been good for stocks in this 21st century. Often when they occur, cutting cycle.
So just so you guys are clear here, the red circles are when the Fed stops hiking rates. So you can see here in like 2006-ish, okay, the Fed stopped hiking rates and you see gold shoot up 189%. You can look in 2019. On the right here, gold goes up 50% when they stopped hiking rates. So that just happened. They stopped hiking rates. So now they're basically saying gold's getting ready to go on another run according to historical data.
Yeah.
Might play out. But we can also examine how rate cutting cycles have not typically been good for stocks in this 21st century. Often when they occur, it was during bear markets at the time. It remains an interesting thought exercise for me at the moment to wonder by when and what S&P price level the spot gold price will reach parity equal with again. By which year that will happen and at what number.
Quick follow-up.
During Jerome Powell's Q&A with their approved financial media press, he was asked about the current program to help stave off bank runs from earlier this year.
The question about banking stresses. You talked about how the banking system is resilient. Of course, part of the resilience the past year stems from the Bank Term Funding Program that you launched in March. Given that bond prices have not recovered, that unrealized losses are probably mounting, how likely is it that you might have to extend that program in March next year?
Good question. We haven't really been thinking about that yet.
Yeah, they have no idea.
It's November 1, and that's a decision we'll be making in the first quarter of next year.
The BTFP program is preventing a cascade of bank failures that could occur if the current roughly $1.5 trillion of unrealized losses in U.S. Treasury bond market had to be realized by banks. The program reportedly ends in March 2024, And of course, the fiat financial powers that be have certainly been thinking about this ongoing covert bank run cover-up. They are looking to lower the barriers of the, quote, too big to fail labels for failing banks and financial institutions ahead. The U.S. Treasury announced a new record.
So basically, they want there to be more banks that are too big to fail so that they can be bailed out because they know what's coming.
Yeah. They want to leave you with no option. I mean, it's a setup. You know, you can't trust these people. But you know what I'm saying? We have historical data. You know what I'm saying? We have the facts. You know, we have the resources. The people who know, you know, eyes to see, ears to hear, they understand. People are feeling the inflation. People are waking up to what's going on. We just talked about like in China, where they see what's going on with the real estate market. And people are like, hold on, where can I put my dollars? Where can I put my cash without exposing it to as much risk or risk at all? You know, without having liability and third-party counter risk, you know, that's gold and silver, where you can still have the value of your money secure and appreciate for you. You know, and that's what people need to understand. That's what people need to learn. You have your investments. You know, we love crypto. We invest in crypto, but you don't invest in gold and silver. There's no risk of 100% loss. Gold and silver will always have value. You know, that's why it's a tier 1 asset, according to the Bank of International Settlements, which is a central bank for central banks. So we don't invest in gold and silver. We save our money in gold and silver. You're converting your money. You might as well consider yourself an alchemist, okay? You're converting paper into hard metal, all right? You know, converting, you know, this fiat currency, this low frequency money into a higher vibratory, solid state frequency money. You know what I mean? Like gold and silver, it's God's money. It's, you know, Robert Kiyosaki talks about it. You know, the dollar, you know, government money, fiat currency, that's slave money. That's slaves' money. Gold and silver, that's God's money. Cryptocurrency, that's the people's money. Okay? So we advocate and we're telling people, look, skip the slave money, right? We see what's going on with the slave money. Have enough slave money for an emergency fund. Okay? But in regards to your savings, you don't save cash because cash is not for saving. The dollar doesn't save value. You save gold and silver, right? And you invest in emerging markets, in emerging technologies like blockchain and cryptocurrency.
And again, I cannot end this live stream, Ricardo, without saying you think you are saving silver, but in the end, it's going to be silver that is saving you.
Yeah. Yeah.
When
facts.
the house of cards crumbles and people are wondering what to do, you will be sleeping safely at night knowing you own real money in your own possession.
Yeah.
Now,
and they talked about bank runs. You know, if you go to the bank and you can't get your cash out, right? Or the dollar is losing so much value, and then you look around your house, what do you have? What value do you have to sell? What can you leverage? You see what I'm saying? Most people don't have assets inside their house. You got furniture, a TV, liabilities, things that everybody else got that they don't want. You know what I'm saying? But when you're sitting on ounces of silver and you got gold and real money, okay, you hold it. You're limiting your risk and exposure to unforeseen events in the financial sector and in the banking sector. And that's what you want to have. You know what I'm saying? You want to have that peace of mind because this is real. Banks are collapsing. The monetary system is changing over. The dollar is losing its status and credibility around the world. So you have to have silver and gold. And it's perfectly like you said, Mike. People think they save in silver, but it's going to find out that silver's saving them.
100%. So if you guys are watching right now, smash that like button. Give me the hashtag silver for freedom. Silver, the number 4 freedom. Hashtag silver for freedom. You guys might think you know where we get our gold and silver from. All right. We have a couple different options. And you're going to want to make sure you reach out to Ricardo or myself and find out where we are getting our gold and silver, because it might surprise you. So as Ricardo says, the only thing constant in the universe is change. Okay. So we're constantly looking for the best places to get gold and silver on autopilot. So reach out to us, even if you've worked with us in the past. We want to make sure you guys stay up to date and know what is going on, because we have some big announcements coming up in 2024. So make sure you are running with the runners. Get inside the app. It's completely free. Down below in the description on Facebook or YouTube, runwithrick.com or richdaddy.org will get you to the free app and get you set up. Mims, any last words today?
Hey, trust me, bro, season, trust me, bro. You're going to want some real money, some gold and silver, man. So this is the time, man. So phenomenal Wealth Wednesdays, man. Shout out to the runners. I'm excited for 2024. You guys know I am. I've been preaching, prophesizing, foretelling, about this year and what's to come in 2024, the wealth transfer, what's going on globally, politically, and everything else. So like I always say, this is the opportunity to make sure that a wealthy family comes from you, even if you didn't come from a wealthy family. We're living in the largest and greatest wealth transfer ever in history. And if you do the right things with your time, your money, right? If you're following the right people, you're acquiring the right assets, there is no way that you don't find yourself wealthier than you could have ever imagined, okay, in your lifetime, what we have going on right now. So stay plugged in, run with the runners, lace up, let's get wealthy.
Peace, guys. Have a great